we need to start out with some condolences. I need to recognize that one of our employees, Nancy Rodarte, who works at Vail Ski and Snowboard Academy, in a tragic accident that happened 3 weeks ago, lost her son, her daughter, and a grandson in a car accident out of state. We've done a lot to help support her in this loss. A GoFundMe page was started, and many of her colleagues and district employees have helped support her in trying to help with transport and burial costs to get her family members back in state. But I think that the depth of that tragedy reminds us how temporary and fragile life can be. So I want to offer condolences to Nancy and to her family. Also, the family of Jackson Davis. Jackson was a ninth grade student at Eagle Valley High School. And I want to offer our condolences to his family, to his friends, the community of Gypsum, and the staff at Red Hill Elementary School, Gypsum Creek Middle School, and Eagle Valley High School, where he attended his whole career. I think it's important that we acknowledge that Jackson was murdered violently. I don't want to whitewash this as an incident or a situation. He was murdered, and it's tragic, and it needs to stay in the spotlight. So we, the greater community, not just we of the school system, that we as the greater community have a sense of urgency about this, and that we can ensure that it never happens again. The school district is working with the town of Gypsum, with Jackson's family, and Eagle Valley High School on a memorial that could be at the 2nd Street Park in Gypsum, where he lost his life. So we'll continue to work on that in coming weeks and see if we can do something to honor his life that his family appreciates. I want to offer special thanks to our school counselors, who have been very supportive of our students and staff members in the last 2 weeks, and who have come from other schools to support those most impacted, those being Gypsum Creek Middle School and Eagle Valley High School. Also thanks to your Hope Center, who have sent extra counselors and therapists to our schools to be supportive. District administrators, many of them in this room, spent that week in schools and classrooms throughout the valley offering support. I want to thank the DA's office for their cooperation with us in their investigation, so that we can take action at school to make sure that they're as safe as they can be. And to all the different community groups that offered support. I see our friends from My Future Pathways here who also offered support, so thank you guys for doing that. Related to that incident, I think we need to acknowledge the emotional roller coaster that occurred last week. An assault was reported to have occurred at Freedom Park across the street from Battle Mountain High School. That assault turned out to not be it turned out to be a hoax. It turned out not to be a real claim. And also last Friday, we locked out our schools in Edwards, and that was based on old information, but not wrong information. We ended up canceling a soccer game last Tuesday, rivalry game between Eagle Valley High School and Battle Mountain High School, based on the false report from Monday. And that led to concerns that we have a larger issue. But we canceled that game out of an abundance of caution with the information that we had at the time. I recognize the emotional toll that those incidents took on our kids and on our families. I live in Edwards, and my phone was blowing up with my neighbors and friends asking me, Phil, what the hell's going on? So I have to explain to them what I know, but I do believe we acted appropriately, not taking safety lightly, not assuming that everything's going to be okay. We receive troubling information, we're going to act on it. But I understand the emotional toll that those actions produced, that it generated fear and anxiety and fueled rumors. But I do want our community to know that we will act in the interest of safety, that we're not trying to hide anything or marginalize concerns or threats when we hear about them. We have and will take threats seriously. We will follow up. We will perform due diligence, we will maintain confidentiality, and we will cooperate with law enforcement. To that end, I think we need to remind our community that in March, we hired Tad Deegan. Tad was hired to be our district-wide Director of Safety and Security. It's a new position that we just created in March. Tad is a former member of the Eagle County Sheriff's Department. He is a former school resource officer and commander of the countywide SWAT team. He comes with an incredible amount of experience working with kids, schools, and around safety and security. In the short time that he's been employed with the district, he's already improved our communication systems and technologies. He's working on infrastructure improvements in our schools. He's monitoring and evaluating and providing feedback about our safety drills. And he's coordinating efforts with all 4 of the local law enforcement agencies that cover our schools. We've never had better coordination. So I think the timing of hiring him and the work that he's done has been incredibly valuable as it relates to school safety. Tomorrow, I and some other district leaders plan to attend the Youth Violence Prevention Meeting that will be occurring at CMC, hosted by Mountain Youth and Youth Power 365. Other agencies and youth-serving nonprofits are welcome to attend. This event was scheduled before the loss of Jackson Davis, but I think it has become even more poignant as a result of his murder. So youth violent prevention will stay on our radar, and we'll have our representatives there to make sure that whatever's discussed finds its way into our schools. And I think our community wants to know what efforts we're making to promote healthy school culture. And I'll tell you, I'm taking more than my time, so I'll apologize for that now. I want everybody in our community to know that we have social emotional curriculum in every single school. So our kids aren't just learning how to read, write, and do math. They're also learning effective conflict resolution strategies. They're learning about healthy relationships, the value of mental and physical health, and how to work with trusted adults to help mitigate conflict. We're also pushing for some incentives in this year's negotiations process with our teachers union to create incentives to hire and retain more school counselors in our schools. We've got a few schools that don't have certified counselors right now. We've got to find a way to get counselors to our community and keep them working in our schools. They're essential to building healthy schools and promoting positive school culture. So we're working hard to see if we can incentivize them to be here. We also have a program called Youth Equity Stewardship. This is a voluntary program that some of our kids participate in, and our staff members participate in, and those who do it love it. It promotes student voice and develops leaders. It teaches our students to lean into respect and caring as the foundation of a strong community. We want them to be stewards of our schools and our community, not just bystanders. We're teaching them to be crew, paddling together, moving in the same direction, not just passengers along for the ride. So thank you to Tia Luck and her partners that make Youth Equity Stewardship possible. Next year, we will have a focus on student behavior management. We are hearing this from our participants in our district-wide accountability committee. We're hearing it from our principals, from our teachers, and from our parents. So we get that there's a need, and this will be a focus for us moving into next school year. I also want to point out that next year we're going to have a district-wide cell phone policy. Police are investigating the role that cell phones or social media played in Jackson's murder. And I don't know what they're going to find there, but I think that there will be connections. I know for certain that cell phones and social media have played an enormous role in the aftermath of what happened in the last 2 weeks, including sharing a disturbing video of his murder, spreading rumors, and increasing fear and anxiety in our community. We've been battling this for years, since my time as a principal at Battle Mountain High School. But this incident, along with recent research on this subject, compel us to take a stronger position. Our schools have cell phone policies already, but they could be more uniform, better communicated to families, and more consistently enforced. So we have drafted a district-wide policy that our principals will examine next Tuesday, and I will ask the board to approve in June for implementation in August. And parents, I'm asking you that we need your support on this one. Even though it means you won't have instant communication with your child during the school day, we've gone thousands of years without instant communication with our kids, and I think we'll be okay. And I'm certain that I'll have this discussion and debate with my 16-year-old when he learns of this rule. And I can tell you, I usually have an open door policy, and you've probably heard me say over and over again that I'm infinitely invitational. But when this policy is implemented this summer, that I can tell you that this fall, if parents want to schedule time with me to debate a cell phone policy, there's going to be some prerequisites to scheduling that meeting. And those prerequisites are going to involve watching a list of the 5 most disturbing videos that I know for a fact have been distributed among our students in our schools to kids as young as elementary school. And those videos will include bullying, drug and alcohol abuse, fights, sexual content, and now a murder. So if you want to watch those videos and you want to read the research of Jonathan Haidt or Abigail Schreier, and then come and talk to me about why we shouldn't have a cell phone policy, I'll entertain you. But until you've done that, I don't want you scheduling a meeting with me. We got to come together as a community. We've done it before, and I know we can do it now. Our kids need us, and by us, I don't just mean us as the schools, I mean us as a community. So I think we can do it. We've done it before. And now I need to take a breath, because I need to move into the rest of my notes. That was my first slide.
Phil, while you take a breath, can I just add the meeting that you weren't able to attend this afternoon included Cleargy, law enforcement, community partners. Tad and I were there, and it was incredibly heartening to see our community and all the different parts come together and talk about moving forward and healing, and how exactly what you just said we can do. We've done this before, and we can do it now too.
Thank you, Dr. Jarno. Okay, we have some really good things happening in this community, so I'm going to shift gears now and move on to some celebrations. Teacher Appreciation Week just happened, and I want to thank all of our classroom educators. Your job has never been this difficult. We've got nationwide struggles in public education. We've got increased behavior management challenges happening around this country. We've got increased truancy, increased levels of disruptive behavior and disrespectful behavior, specifically towards staff, increased criticism of what we do in the media, political targeting of public education, staffing shortages. This is the 3rd year in a row that we've been 10% vacancies in our organization, underfunding, and increased expectations about what our teachers are supposed to do, including managing mental health, providing and helping kids with social services like addressing homelessness, food insecurity, medical needs. We're getting there. I acknowledge how tough their job is. And it's not what the job was 10 years ago when I was a teacher. I know that. I know that what you do is different, and it's harder than it was when I was in your shoes. But I want you to know, as educators in our community, that you are valued. And not just during a pandemic when schools are shut down, you are appreciated for the hard work that you do. I also want to acknowledge that we just wrapped up a testing window for CMAS, PSAT, and SAT without any significant issues, which is saying a lot for the number of kids and tests that we have to administer. So thank you to our principals and our local assessment coordinators in our buildings, all the teachers who helped proctor, the students who showed up and gave it their best. I'm looking forward to getting those results this summer. Also, we got a couple of exciting new hires to talk about. New administrators hired at Eagle Valley High School and Vail Ski and Snowboard Academy. Kylan Cottonsteady will be taking over an assistant principal role at Eagle Valley High School. Kylan's been with the district for 16 years, and I believe is a graduate of Eagle Valley High School, so taking the helm at his own school is pretty exciting. Carrie Bankston will be taking over as assistant principal of Vail Ski and Snowboard Academy after 17 years with the district. So really excited to have Carrie stepping into that role, and knowing that Wade Hill will be retiring next year. I'm excited to see her in that role and learn everything about administration in that building. All right, last slide for me is just to give you guys an update that we have started the negotiations process with the Teachers Association. We met on Monday of this week. We'll meet again next Tuesday and Wednesday and hopefully get that wrapped up. Unfortunately, the mill levy override did not pass this past November, and we spent into reserves in our budget this year to try to provide a meaningful compensation increase to all of our staff. So what does that mean? It means that we need to backfill that reserve that was spent, and the new money that we're getting from the state this year is going to get eaten up by inflation. So we really have very little to invest in discretionary revenue, but we're going to do the best we can in this negotiations process. Proms are this weekend. They are both, Eagle Valley and Battle Mountain, both hosting their proms in Vail at 2 different locations. And we have been in coordination with Town of Vail Police Force, and that is not new as a result of the last 2 weeks of incidents and challenges that we faced as a community. We always cooperate with them when it relates to prom. Having both of them in the same town on the same night is new. So Vail Police Department has agreed that they will add 12 duty officers that night to be stationed in various places around the town. Avon is going to provide 2, and our school resource officers will be present as well. So we're looking at having plenty of supervision around so our kids have a safe night at prom. And finally, graduations. Highlight of our year, we got our 4 graduations scheduled. I think it's important to note that Red Canyon High School also includes our World Academy students and students who have earned GEDs. So looking forward to all those and culminating those students' 4 years, and some of them 4 years plus of high school to give them diplomas and celebrate with their families. So, Mr. President, that was a long report, and I turn it back over to you. Thank you.